Video games are complicated. Much like a car, a game needs gears of interwoven mechanics, a fuel of time and passion from the developers, powerful engines to propel them forward, and all concealed by a slick coat of paint produced by the UI and art direction. Not all cars are created equally, and understanding why certain cars stall and others hum is quite an interesting query. This is Chariot Rider, and today I am launching Deliberation, a series of videos where I break games down to their core to find out what makes them tick by analyzing the mechanics of video games. Join me for my first ever Deliberation as I take a look under the hood of Rocket League. Rocket League is a big deal. Released just over 2 years ago by a tiny game company that spent most of their time helping other studios code for the Unreal Engine, Rocket League has exploded in popularity, asserting itself as one of the highest viewed esports of all time. Rocket League was no accident, though one does wonder how it has achieved such a massive audience in such a short amount of time. It is, after all, quite an absurd game when you think about it. What aspect of these rocket cars makes them stand out from every other hopeful esport game? The answer? Emergent gameplay. What exactly is emergent gameplay? Well, as with many game development terms, it depends on who you ask. So for the sake of consistency, this is how I will define emergent gameplay for the purposes of this video. Emergent gameplay is gameplay that was not explicitly defined by a developer, but instead arises as a consequence of simple rules or mechanics of a game. So what exactly does that mean? Let's take a closer look at the mechanics of Rocket League. Stripping away all the fancy graphics and cosmetics, at its core, Rocket League is a game with a very simple and easy to understand set of rules and mechanics. You can drive your car forward, backward, left, right. You can drift, you can jump a short height, and then jump again. Your car is equipped with boost that you collect from boost pads. When going fast enough, you destroy other cars. Whoever scores the most goals wins. That's it. Each of these mechanics are designed to be simple on their own, but they can produce interesting gameplay when used together. A player can use their boost after jumping to smack the ball out of the air, or demoing a defender before they can reach the ball. Everything that is possible as a result of these rules is emergent gameplay. As I said earlier, Rocket League is mostly emergent gameplay. There are all sorts of crazy strategies that arise as a result of Rocket League's mechanics. But why is emergent gameplay important? And what does it add to the game? In my opinion, there are two main strengths of emergent gameplay in Rocket League. Firstly, emergent gameplay reduces the complexity, and second, emergent gameplay increases the depth of the game. Let's start by talking about how emergent gameplay reduces complexity. In every single game, before the player can begin playing, they first need to be given a baseline of information that is absolutely essential in order to play the game. And anything that a developer can do to reduce the load placed on new players is almost always a good thing. And emergent gameplay is one tool in the game designer's belt that is especially effective at reducing the learning curve. Because Rocket League's base rules are designed to be simple, new players can quickly understand the base of the game, which is good for the longevity and inclusivity of the game in the long run. But emergent gameplay is not just for new players, as it also makes the game more interesting for even the most advanced of players. Rocket League's mechanics are very simple, but they are intentionally designed to lead to more interesting and complex strategies when combined. Dribbling is only possible because players have fine-tuned control over their speed and direction, which requires precise control to achieve. Air dribbling is an evolution of regular grounded dribbling, which throws in precise control of your boost as well. While dribbling, players can use their double jumps to flick the ball above the oncoming defenders and into the goal, or to just psych out their opponents. And there are many more examples of tactics that the Rocket League community has discovered that I lack the time and skill to acquire the footage to mention. Every one of these strategies arise from those very simple mechanics that I mentioned earlier. It is important to note that these strategies require higher amounts of skill from the player, ultimately increasing the skill ceiling of the game, which again is a very good thing. This is because emergent gameplay is very good at creating mechanical depth, without creating complexity. I'll probably do a future video discussing the differences between depth and complexity in the future, but for now, just know that complexity is generally defined as the amount of mechanics, system, and interfaces, and just stuff in general that can be manipulated in a game, while depth is defined as the possibility space of a game, which could be described as simply what is possible within a game. Let's break down what this means for emergent gameplay. Some people would say that depth and complexity are linked at the hip, and that the more complex a game is, the more depth it will have. Those people are wrong. To illustrate this point, let's look at Campaign for North Africa. Campaign for North Africa is a board game infamous for its complexity, with a rulebook that is 192 pages. When playing with the full allotment of 10 players that the game allows, the game can take about 1,200 hours to finish. I'll let you do the math on how many days that is, but my point is, the game is certainly one of the most complicated games ever created. But is it one of the most deep games created? Not by a long shot, because complexity cannot extend the depth of a game if a player cannot understand that complexity. And if you think you can remember 192 pages of rules, then you don't have time to be playing Campaign for North Africa. You should be curing cancer or solving the Riemann hypothesis or something. My point is, you can still have a very deep game and a very small amount of complexity, and emergent gameplay is usually what makes this possible, because if you can squeeze complexity out of existing rules, you don't need to make up new rules to make a deep game. Go is a great example of a very simple game that is also very deep. Go only has a couple of rules. You place stones on a board. If a stone is surrounded, it is captured. You cannot play a stone where it will get captured, and you cannot repeat a previous board position. Just play till both players agree that they cannot gain any more space, and then whoever has the most territory wins. That's it. Go was first developed thousands of years ago, but it still has a massive competitive scene today, and grandmasters have studied Go for their whole lives, developing strategies. Point is, Go's rules create a very high amount of emergence. For instance, certain board positions are uncapturable in Go. These are called eyes, and they are very valuable. And in my opinion, the emergent gameplay of Go has kept it interesting for thousands of years, and perhaps it will keep Rocket League interesting for a long time to come. To summarize, Rocket League's emergent gameplay keeps the complexity low, making it easy for new players to join, but it has depth that keeps hardcore gamers interested for a very long time. To summarize, Rocket League's emergent gameplay keeps the complexity low, making it easy for new players to enjoy, but it also has the depth that keeps hardcore gamers interested for a very long time. Throw in the excellent visuals, vibrant trading community, and heaping helping of polish, and it isn't surprising that Rocket League blew up like it did. And Rocket League does not have a monopoly on emergent gameplay. I would be interested to hear what games you feel use emergent gameplay well in the comments under this video. I have a bunch of stuff I would love to talk about, so your support would be much appreciated. If you have any ideas for future videos you would like to see me make, leave a comment under the video, and maybe I'll get around to it. You never know. But that's pretty much all I have for today. Feel free to like and subscribe to catch my future design deliberations, if this is at all interesting to you. But until then, this has been Chariot Rider. Have a good day.
They left as soon as I wrote it. I just